Hello everyone, I'm Leon Thomas Lewick. Here's your political news roundup for Monday, February 13th. President Obama has plans to cut $4 trillion from the federal budget deficit over the next decade. Obama sent his budget for 2013 to Congress today. Spending is actually up this year, but Obama wants to make up for it and pay for the $4 trillion in long-term debt reduction through higher taxes and fees, mostly on the wealthiest Americans. Those plans likely make the budget dead on arrival, at least among Republicans in Congress. They're pushing for program cuts, not higher taxes. Analysts say it's a standoff that's likely to last at least until after the fall elections. It's far from a presidential summit meeting, but there are hints the United States is preparing for nuclear talks with North Korea. The reports say a U.S. representative will meet with North Korea's vice foreign minister next week. The meeting would take place in Beijing, China, and would mark the first discussions between the countries since the death of former dictator Kim Jong-il in mid-December. Back home, Mitt Romney can once again be considered the front-runner in the race for the Republican presidential nomination. Romney won last week's Maine caucuses with 39% of the vote. Ron Paul was a close second with 36%. In fact, Paul's camp is charging that a weather-related closure of one caucus precinct might have cost their candidate the win. The apparent Romney win breaks Rick Santorum's string of 3 primary victories last week. Santorum finished third in Maine with 18%. He did not actively campaign in the state. And despite efforts of the United Nations and the Arab League, there's been no halt in Syria's use of military force against protesting citizens. Tank fire was reported in the city of Homs Monday, the 10th straight day of shelling in the city that's become the center of protests against dictator Bashar al-Assad. Over the weekend, the Arab League asked the UN to send a peacekeeping mission into Syria. Russia, which vetoed action against Assad by the UN, called for a ceasefire in Syria before any peacekeeping missions would be discussed. That's your political roundup for Monday, February 13th. I'm Leon Thomas Lewick. Stay logged on to rttnews.com for more on these and other political and financial news stories throughout the day.